Every stick is yours. You put it together, you tape it a certain way, you string it a certain way. It's really special. It allows you to unleash your creative juices. Trial and error is not only welcome but encouraged in lacrosse. You're accepted whether you throw overhand, sidearm, or underhand. So it's kind of custom tailored to your abilities. That kind of stuff I think is really welcoming for kids in the educational space with learning differences. My name's Paul Rabil. I'm a professional lacrosse player in the New York Lizards and with Team USA. I have auditory processing disorder and ADHD.
I think it was subtle. When you have a student that's kind of median or a little higher, you don't tend to think of learning differences. They don't really jump out at you because you tend to focus, even as a parent, on what they excel at.
I never experienced a time where I was able to retain the information immediately. It's verbal and it's reading based. I would go through often chapters at a time and have difficulty recalling even what I read. Probably 6th grade, got tested for all different types of learning differences, and that was so that I could qualify for extra time. Note takers, I could basically scan all of my reading material into this program, and then I could listen back on different speeds. I was fortunate to grow up with my dad and mom who both grew up in sports. So I played soccer, basketball, I swam, did track and field. My brother played baseball and football.
Sports in general was always supposed to be fun, and so we always gave them lots of choices, and they would try whatever they wanted to do, make that commitment, and if they didn't like it, they could go to something else and try that. But I really wanted it to be a fun activity and not something that they had to do in a regimen.
Lacrosse, I started when I was 12. My neighbor gave me a stick. I wasn't good. My first play was a turnover. I wanted to quit my first season. My mom urged me to continue, actually wouldn't let me quit. So I stuck with it. I developed that skill over the year enough to stay in lacrosse. I started when I was 12 years old. And so it was challenging for me because lacrosse is a very technical sport, but I started asking for help. It took me a little bit to get there, but I started asking for help because I grew up with auditory processing disorder. I have ADHD. I have this thing called word retrieval that I struggle with, and I worked really, really, really hard at it. Sports were really important for us, not only from a skill development standpoint for me growing into that profession, but from a social development standpoint as well. So much of what we do is based on our ability to interact and communicate with others. Often we're kind of hushed and listening in the classroom, and on the field we're interacting. The most underrated thing that we can do is ask for help. Asking for help is your fastest track to success.
He really enjoyed getting the help. I mean, for him, a lot of students with learning differences don't like to get the extra help. He always really pursued that and felt like that was important. He was very much for advocating for himself, and that's why it really spills over to advocating for others.
The Paul Rabil Foundation aims to help children with learning differences through the avenue of education and sports.
Sport is a vehicle for community. We all gather and we're unified because more times than not, lacrosse has played some type of role in our life. Sharing is the way that we leave our mark on the world for the better. Sharing is about belonging and partaking in a community. Ultimately, we are what we share.
So the advice for the parents would be do your own gut check and talk with, first of all, the classroom teacher and talk with the staff.
Be really compassionate and empathetic to your daughter or son. And that requires sitting down with them, trying to really communicate on not only the challenges that we see in way of like test results and stuff, but how this potentially is affecting them interpersonally away from the home.
Don't be afraid to ask questions. No matter what your learning style is, ask questions. And don't be afraid as parents to face the challenge, because it's actually that quiet elephant in the room that challenges all of us. And it's nothing to be ashamed of. It has nothing to do with IQ.
Know that your learning difference is actually going to be a gift to your success in whatever course you take in life. You develop skill sets. You become more self-aware, more socially aware. You learn how to think creatively. You know how to work hard. You know how to kind of live outside the box. And when you get older, that is going to support your potential in a way that you cannot imagine right now.